I'm a development officer for Community Action MK, and I'm the person that goes into large expansion areas to try and start things off. It's all about building community really, and any way I can. So one day I could be doing graffiti art on a building down to changing nappies in a parent and toddler class. So all extremes I'll try just to connect people, to make it feel like home. On the expansion area on the east, which covers Broughton Gate and Brooklands, we've had numerous changes since the last film. So we've now got Brooklands Square, which has a supermarket, a pharmacy, lots of food retailers. Also, the good news is that the temporary doctor's surgery is moving over to the full-time medical centre, which is brilliant news for the residents. We've got an amazing group that covers most of the community groups in the area, which are called Broughton and Brookland Community Connectors. And they literally can hook you into any organisation, any club that's going. So they've been a real asset to the area. There's a large pot of money that Community Foundation hold for new residents to start up groups, clubs, etc. It's quite easy to access, so people like extra special families applied for grants to be able to run these sessions. It's definitely worthwhile setting up these groups.
Extra Special Families was born from a friendship between myself and initially two other mums of children with autistic spectrum disorder, about the same age as my daughter. There was a lack of availability of specialist groups and social things for our kids to do. We were desperate to find something for them, and we thought, why don't we have a crack at getting some funding and trying to put on some family fun days. So we applied to MK Community Foundation for a grant, and Extra Special Families was born from that.
So Community Action have now pulled back slightly from the east. We still support groups and have the Arrivals Worker programme over here, but because we've got the strategic land allocation and the west, obviously, with over 6,000, we've got a lot more work to do over in those areas. The Western Expansion area consists of Fairfields and White House. Over the last 12 months we've had about 1,500 approximately homes occupied. White House is the larger estate but with less population at the moment. Fairfields is going at a rate of knots. We've got two first schools that have opened. Unfortunately, we have no other facilities there at all. No community space, no shops, no nothing. Fairfields and White House are very different. White House, you've got a lovely, huge park. Fairfields, unfortunately, the park has been delayed because of overhead lines, so we've got to wait for them to go underground. Other issues are that we've never had crossings. It's an island. There is no physical, safe way of people to get out of the estates. So Community Action have fought really hard with the council to put temporary pedestrian crossings in.
Yeah, so I've been on maternity leave for quite a lot of the time that I've lived on Fairfields, and it's been a little bit lonely because there's no communal places like a park or community centre. You can't just pop to the shop, especially as I've got two young boys. It's not easy for me by myself just to cross the road. So I've spoke to people. There's, like I said, on Facebook there's a really good community and you can speak to other mums and people on there, and I've met up with a few people that live in the area, but other than that there's not really much else yet. So you just need somewhere that you can meet. Even a little shop would do, just so you can say hello to someone on a day where you don't get to say hello to anyone.
So there are a group of residents that have got together off the back of a meeting that Community Action MK held probably about 18 months or so ago, with the idea of seeing who was interested in perhaps being involved in setting up the future parish council. Now that group has grown. There are probably about 15 people now as part of that group across Fairfields and Whitehouse, and we meet on a regular basis at the moment, with a view to setting up the framework and the organisation that will eventually become the parish council. We've just recently sent out a survey so that we can capture the thoughts and feelings and needs of the residents. So we're there to represent the residents, but we need to understand what their concerns and needs are. So out of that, we'll start to be able to put a list of things together that we can start to work on.
If I could have one wish for the West, so Fairfields and Whitehouse, because they are two different identities at the moment, because there's no crossing in between. It will join up eventually, but I think they'll have already established their own communities then. Community space, just something, even if it was a pub, anything where people could get together, and it needs to be accessible weekends, evenings, because like I say, these families need to work to be able to afford, mortgages, etc. And for somewhere for kids to find identity for themselves and grow up with, their neighbours. There's nothing there for them to do that with at the moment.
Well, the strategic land area, or SLA for short, will in total be 2,500 new dwellings with 2 new primary schools, secondary school, playing fields, playgrounds, etc. It was originally conceived back in the 2005 local plan as a reserve area in case other housing development didn't come forward, but it was later ratified in the 2013 core strategy as a development area in its own right. Community Action play a number of vital roles in the new development areas. They assist in helping to bring people together. They assist in helping people to assimilate, particularly those who've come from areas outside of MIlton Keynes. And they also play a vital role in helping to feed back to me and to other parts of the public sector what the needs and concerns of the new residents who've moved into the new areas are. And that helps us to prioritise our programmes of activity to try and meet some of those needs of the early residents.
Community action is really important, I think, especially in new developments. We support groups, existing groups all over MIlton Keynes, so even in the older villages, etc. But we even do physical hand-holding, literally. We have people in isolation that are petrified to go out of their homes because they don't know anyone. So we will physically knock on their door and take them, just so they feel like they belong. Everyone has a right to have these connections, and that's what we're there for.